Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. I am Pastor Nick, and this beautiful, sexy 60-year-old. See, how old are you?
61.
61-year-old is sitting there. You'd be surprised how many people came here and say their age. They're so insecure. It's funny. I ask people, "How old are you?"
Yeah.
They look at you like you're asking them,
Can I go to bed with you?
yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It's true.
It's like they're just so.
But not say it.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how I got there. Today is Winning in the Word Wednesday. Today is Church Day. We're very excited about that. And today what we want to do is we want to continue on where we were last week, and we want to dig a little deeper. And today we want to talk about permissive parenting versus biblical parenting. A lot of times, again, like we talked about last week, a lot of people think that parenting is being their kid's best friend. Parenting means, giving your kid everything they want.
Mhm.
Parenting means, them not wanting for nothing. I mean, that's really not parenting. And the last time we talked about the role of a good parent, right? And how being a good parent does not make, is not about your child being your best friend, right?
Right.
But their leader, right? We've been called to be our child's leader. And this issue in parenting today is why you see so much issues in leadership. I mean, leaders can't confront people. So if a leader can't confront somebody, they don't grow.
Right.
Parents can't confront their children, right? If a parent doesn't confront their child, they can't grow. If you let your child walk around the house all morning talking back to you, every time you say something, they're getting right back with you. At a very young age, you're teaching your child that no, they don't have to listen. They can have an opinion about everything. And there are times that as a child, you don't need an opinion. When your child is running out the front door to chase a ball into the street and you say stop because a car's coming, they should hear your voice and stop. But today they hear the parent's voice and they want to debate. Well, let me go get my ball first, then I'll stop. And now you're hitting, it's dead and it's too late.
Right. And the real reason is because they don't have the wisdom to self-govern themselves
Right.
at that point. And parents don't seem to understand that.
Right. So today what we want to do is we want to contrast two very different parenting models.
Right.
We want to contrast the permissive parenting model, which culture celebrates today, versus the biblical parenting model, in which Scripture demands and culture don't embrace it as much. Right. One produces comfort, and the other produces character.
Right.
One produces comfort, one produces character. One avoids conflict, and one prepares your child for life. One avoids conflict, and one prepares your child for life. And confusing the two of these is one of the biggest reasons families struggle today. I remember the first time I got beat up by a boy named Ralph Fernandez. And I remember coming home crying and my mom calling my dad and my dad telling me on the phone, "You just wait right there, son. I'm going to be right there." And I felt so much relief when my dad said he was coming. My dad, we're going to go down there and we're going to talk to this Ralph Fernandez. I felt so good because my daddy was coming to my rescue. And matter of fact, I stopped crying and all of a sudden the pain wasn't the pain no more. And the hurt wasn't the hurt no more because my daddy was coming to my rescue. And my daddy took me by my hand and walked me down to Ralph Fernandez's house, knocked on the door, asked his dad if they could see Ralph. Little Ralphie came out. My dad said, "Did you beat up Nick?" And the little boy looked at my dad and he said, "Yeah." He said, "I want you to keep beating him up." And they turned Ralph loose on me. And they let Ralph beat my behind. Both Ralph's dad and my dad stood there. And I was on the bottom getting my behind beat, so confused. Like, what in the world is going on? And I realized my dad wasn't going to rescue me. And I realized Mr. Fernandez wasn't going to rescue me. And I realized I had to fight back. And as soon as I started fighting back and the breakthrough came, they broke us up. And my dad walked me home and told me a lesson of life. Whether you lose or win, no matter whatever happens, son, always fight back. Never give up. Never quit. And as a result of that, I've been a different person.
And you know what's so neat about the story today? People consider that bad parenting.
Right? Right. And I did the same thing with my son Nick.
Sure did.
I did the same thing.
I was
Franny didn't want me to
upset.
do it.
Yeah, I was so upset. I said, "It's mosquitoes out there, and it's dark, and
Yeah.
it's about football." And he said, "Franny, go home."
Yeah.
He said, "I got this." And I was looked at him like, "Excuse me," but I got in the car and left. Thank God, I listened and taught my son the biggest lesson of his life:
Yeah.
to keep going even when things are tough.
Yeah.
And you're not winning.
But that's really the difference, right? That's the difference in these two different types of parenting styles. So let's look at it. So permissive parenting feels loving, right? Write this down.
Does.
Permissive parenting feels loving, but leaves a child unprepared. Now, we're not telling you don't love your children.
Right.
We're just telling you teach your children. You know, I found out something. I was telling my wife something the other day about kids in the church and how many people I've told in our church, get an independent evaluation of your child's education. Go outside of the public school system. Do not believe those things they tell you about your child, where they're at, where their reading level is, where they're math. Do not believe the public school. Why? Are they bad people? No. But they get paid for better results. They get paid. They get more money the more higher they get your kid up that scale. Take your kid to get it's like when you buy a diamond. When I buy a diamond for my wife, I don't trust what the jewelry store that sold me the diamond says it is. What's the first thing I do with the diamond? I take it and get it what?
Appraised.
I take it to an independent appraiser. I don't let the jewelry store I bought the diamond from appraise it. I take it to an independent appraiser and I get it appraised to make sure I'm getting what I paid for.
They said, yes.
Not what they say. It's their best interest to say it's a great diamond because they make more money. So I tell all of you, spend $150, spend $200, talk to Miss Erin, talk to Miss Anne Marie if you're in our church, ask them where do you go. Get your child independently benchmarked. So I asked my wife, I tell everybody that, but if I go ask 10 people tonight at church, have they had their kid independently benchmarked? Probably 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 will say no. And I ask her, why would they not? And here's the reason. It's work. It's work to realize your child is behind, and now you got to put in extra work to get them caught up or get them ahead. But I'm telling you, that's permissive parenting. You're not confronting the issue, right? So we need to understand that permissive parenting says, I don't want to upset the kids. I don't want to work harder for the kids. They'll grow out of it. Right. They'll get over it, right? That's what it says. And it also says to a large degree, too, I want them to be like me. I want my kid to be better than me. I want my kid to be better than me. I talked to one of my mentors, man, one of my financial mentors yesterday. And, he's probably worth $100 or $200 million. And I was telling him about an opportunity I have coming up that's going to probably put me maybe where he's at or past him. And he was so happy for me. He's my mentor, right? He wants to see me do better. You should want to see your kids do better. Love without correction isn't love. It's avoidance. Write that down. Love without correction isn't correction. It's avoidance.
Yeah. Proverbs 13:24 says, he who spares his rod hates his son.
Right.
But he who loves him disciplines him promptly.
Right.
So biblical discipline is not abuse.
Right.
It's timely correction and is motivated by love.
Right. Timely correction motivated by love. And I love not anger.
Right. And I love that it said timely. That means you're waiting on the Holy Spirit.
Right.
You're not always at that moment. And really shouldn't be doing it while we're angry.
Never spank your child while they're.
I told him, Pastor Franny, 4 times. Doesn't matter.
Another thing besides just spanking them while you're angry, don't dole out the punishment while you're angry.
You mean
you
talk
can't,
about it?
You can't have your pad for 10 months. And you're not going to stick to that. Yeah. So don't dole out whatever.
That that you can't accomplish or make them stick to.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. Children who grow up or who never hear no growing up are shocked when life says no. They don't know how to handle it.
No, that's a very, very, very bad one. Because how many of us know there's going to be a lot of no's in life? And if they've always had self-gratification, no boundaries, able to voice their opinion at all times, anytime, they're going to have a hard time. They're not going to be able to keep a job. They're not going to be able to do anything consistently because they've been growing up with self-gratification.
Yeah. So point number 2, a biblical parenting or biblical parenting, it trains, right? It doesn't cater. It's not about catering. It's about training. Cater to immaturity. He called us to train immaturity, train them out of it. Okay. Proverbs 29:15. What does it say?
The rod and rebuke give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his mother.
Right. So permissive parenting also leads a child to self-govern. That's not good, right? Before they have wisdom. They can't self-govern. They can't make these decisions.
Because they're a child.
Right.
The Bible says when I was a child, I thought as a child.
Oh, I heard that in the spirit. Somebody says, what age are we talking about, Pastor Ray? Up to what age? I would say up to what, right before they become teens. Right? 12 years old and below. Right? Biblical parenting guides them until wisdom starts to develop. And let me tell you something about wisdom. You got to cultivate wisdom. You got to teach wisdom. You got to impart wisdom, right? Teaching them about boundaries.
Just going to say that. By the time they're teens, if you've been teaching and training,
right,
they should be okay and can make good decisions.
Right.
But if you haven't, they won't be able to.
Right. Boundaries creates security, right? Structure builds confidence. We got to realize that.
And people think discipline, when parents think discipline is a bad thing. No, children feel loved when they're disciplined because they know that you care enough to put a boundary.
Right.
It's just the opposite. I had a teen once tell me that, she was like, she was crying. I said, what's wrong? She said, my mom doesn't love me. I said, why don't you say that? Your mom loves you. I said, she said, well, she lets me go to New York everywhere. She gives me money. She don't ask me when I'm coming back. She don't care.
Right.
And she finally saw that her mom didn't love her because she never disciplined. She just always gave her what she wanted.
Right. So last point for today, friendship without authority produces confusion. We need to understand that friendship without authority produces confusion. You can't have a relationship with your child. Well, you can have a relationship, with your child, but authority must come first.
Respect.
Right. It's got to be respect. It's got to be authority. It can't be this buddy friendship, right? Children don't need another peer, right? Children need a covering. Let me say that again real slow for the people in the back. Your children don't need another peer. They don't need another friend. They need a covering. Ephesians 6:1-3 says,
children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with you and that you may live long on the earth.
Right. When authority is removed, confusion flows. That's the bottom line. When honor disappears, blessings are blocked. That's just the truth of the matter. That's just how it is. So permissive parenting says, I'll protect you from discomfort. Biblical parenting says, I will prepare you for life. What do you want to do? Do you want to protect your child from being uncomfortable, or do you want to prepare your child for life? One seeks approval. The other one seeks biblical strength and builds strength.
I was just thinking as you was reading that, uncomfortable. It's almost like a certain type of persecution of parents go through today if they make their child uncomfortable.
Right.
And don't give them everything they want.
Right.
I've watched, it's almost like it's some type of status for your kid to be a brat.
Right.
And get everything they want.
Right.
It's amazing to me.
Yeah, we have to stop raising our children so they need to be rescued from adulthood. I remember that with Ariel for a long time. She always felt that, right? And then she got out there on her own. She really started doing well. So we have to raise our children who are equipped to face the world with faith. Equipped to face the world with faith.
That also comes down to education. What you was talking about, getting those assessments. You got to prepare your kid to win in this world.
Right.
And they have to be educated. I don't know what we think, but somehow they're going to overcome that.
Yeah, we're going to be starting probably in about a year or two. It's going to be a little bit, but it's going to be called the Renewed Minds Academy. It's a vision God gave me for our youth, and it's really going to teach them in 4 pillars that are boundaries. With the advent of AI, it's what our kids are going to need. It's a high level and a high degree of reading and reading comprehension. It's a high degree of being able to critically think and be a real problem solver. And then lastly, a way for our kids to properly communicate, be great public speakers, be great debaters, be great leaders. And then the fourth pillar is character and integrity from the Bible. Those are the things our kids are going to really need to focus in on to be winners. And that's going to start in a couple of years. And a lot of kids are going to have an opportunity to really benefit from it. It'll be a supplement to school. But anyway, what do you do? How do I start doing this, Pastor? Number one, set boundaries and reinforce them with your children, right? Correct with love, not anger.
Right.
Set boundaries. Write that down in the chat. Someone set boundaries, right? Reinforce them. Keep your boundaries. Keep your promises to make them make their bed, to make them dig out the trash. Correct with love, not anger. Pray with your child. Spend time talking to God with your child. Let your child see your faith in action. Stop talking about your faith and let your child see your faith. Amen. Listen, I hope you guys got something out of this day. Don't forget, tonight is church, man. Let's pack out the house. We're going to have a great Wednesday night services tonight, man. We're going to have an awesome message as we continue teaching the Go Gospel. Until then, Pastor Nick, Pastor Frank saying, enjoy life.